Hi there. So today we're going to be talking about Pat and Alex, and we're doing a different kind of recording today. Normally it's me walking somewhere, but we've had so many questions from you about Pat and Alex. So our editor has sent us some of these questions to answer. So we're going to give it our best shot.
I'm going to ask the questions and Andy will answer. Okay.
Let's give it a go.
Okay. Yeah. What inspired you to write this story?
Oh. Well, I've never written a love story before, and I wanted to write one. A lot of it is inspired by personal experience with Sarah. We fell in love quite young. And it's a story that I wanted to talk about what's inside, not what you are on the outside. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay. How would you describe the relationship between Pat and Alex?
How would you describe the relationship between Pat and Alex?
Well, they're definitely at the beginning of their relationship. And I think it's one of those things where sometimes, even though you're very different backgrounds, you can just click with somebody. You just know somebody. You just have that connection. I think that's what really grows with them, is that connection.
I think at the beginning they aren't really bothered about each other, but then they grow very close. Oh, and by the way, I'm presuming you've read this story because there will be spoilers coming, I'm guessing. Okay, and that's our dog Nimley, who you've seen on the walks, but he's in the bedroom at the moment, not happy at us.
Oh yeah. Oh, shall I do the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, so some critics claim that this book promotes homosexuality. Do you agree with this?
It promotes love. So as you'll have found out by chapter 3, there's no gender for Pat and Alex. We purposefully chose 2 names that could be male or female. They can be the names of any human being. What we wanted to show was that everybody falls in love, and regardless of if it's a relationship between 2 men, 2 women, or people who don't identify or who identify differently, it's all love, and that's what we wanted to promote, was love. Very simply. I sound like a hippie. Yeah. Next.
Have you talked to people who have read this book? What gender do they see the main characters as?
Oh, well, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
All different. So we've had people who see Pat as a man and Alex as a woman, or Pat as a man and Alex as a man, or both women. We have people who see transgender. We have people who see all kinds of things. It's really lovely, and it really goes to show that in story writing, it's not just you as the writer who are involved. Very much the meaning of a story comes from that beautiful space between the writer and the reader. It's like a little bit in the middle somewhere, and that's where the truth of the story is, and I think that's really exciting. That's why I love writing. Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, when you were writing this book, what gender did you picture the main characters as?
Oh, that's a good question, but honestly, none. Because the way we write is we talk about ideas and then we plan the story, and then we go for walks and we talk about it, and then I generally write the first draft, and then we talk about the characters and talk about everything. And with this, sometimes we use he, sometimes we use she. In the end, we use the English pronoun they when talking about either of them. Remember, they in English can be a gender neutral pronoun. So honestly, I do not picture them as any gender now. I picture them
as Pat and Alex.
Picture them as who they are inside, and that is that's Pat and Alex, and that's why I love them so much.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the story? A short summary.
About the story? So the story, that means you probably haven't read it.
Well, maybe just expand a bit more, perhaps.
Okay. So a very quick summary. It's about a big city kid who is forced to go and stay in the countryside and meets a kid who's very much a country bumpkin. If you don't know that word, look it up. And they fall in love. But then Pat has to go and has to move to the States. And because Alex has no internet and no cell or mobile for people from Britain, they can't keep in touch. And so the story also follows a lot of dark times that Pat has. Pat doesn't do well at school, and people call Pat freak and weirdo. And there we're talking about any kind of a difference that a person can have, be it gender, be it sexuality, be it looks, be it anything. We all know what it's like when people get picked on for just being themselves, and then it's about redemption. So it's a happy story, but it's a story that explores the dark side of being young and not understood. It's something that I have personal experience of, and I know other people who have as well. So I wanted to address these things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Is there going to be a sequel to this book?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. But as I say, I really like the characters, so maybe one day. But at the moment, Pat has just written a vampire book about London. Alex finds it hilarious. So I might have to write a hilarious vampire book next.
Okay. This book is a part of a larger series. Can you tell us a little bit more about the series in general?
Sure. This is a series called Viking Kite, and there are 20-something books, and we're adding books all the time. And we span genres. So we've got science fiction and horror and drama. We explore social issues a lot in the stories. We live in Scandinavia, and we have done for 20 years. So a lot of our stories are from a Scandinavian perspective. So I guess for some people, they'll be seen as too progressive in a way. In Scandinavia, I guess those issues are important. So these stories are very much representative of that. We do have two versions of the stories. We have ones that are purely fiction, and then we have educational components if people want to use them in schools. So there are exercises and quizzes, and there's also a lot of artwork.
Yes, there's lots of artwork. I did the illustrations for the series, which were a great joy. I really, really enjoyed doing them. And I loved doing the pictures for Pat and Alex, because a lot of them are internal pictures about how you feel about things and the inside of you and what that feels like. And I thought that was really interesting to do.
And these images and statues, sculptures can be used for classroom activities and inspiration. Also, as we've got things from people around the world, so artists and musicians and dancers who are inspired by the story, if they show us something wonderful, then we put it on the website for use in classroom.
Or by yourself as well. I mean, if you home study or just want to do it by yourself, it's in the books.
Everything's fine for classroom use and also for homeschooling. So for parents who want to get their kids reading more and also reading deeply, that's a key thing for us, is
it's a real passion.
Slowing people down when they read. So they really take it in. And okay, this sounds awfully pedagogical now, but it's about increasing critical evaluation and empathy and being able to follow narrative structure. And ultimately, we want to encourage young people to create their own material, to have the hard debate sometimes, and to really, really read deeply and get into what's being said. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
anything else?
No, that's all the questions.
That's okay then. Great questions. Thank you very much.
You.
And yeah, we'll see you around.
Yeah. Bye.
will end the meeting if I can work out how. And just before I go, I hope you're all safe and doing well, and that this virus is over by the time you see this, or if it's not, I hope you're staying safe and your family and loved ones are okay. That's it.